Hey guys, and welcome back to Kaisen. And today we are going to be talking about another battle simulation. We are going to be talking about Jogo, yes, the cursed spirit Jogo, versus Gojo. But here's a twist. It's not the Gojo we know of. It's the Gojo of his teen years. The Gojo that lost to Toji. Before the one that died to basically died to Toji. We don't talk about that, right? Today we're gonna talk about that. Who would win in a fight between that Jogo and Gojo, and that Gojo and Jogo. So it's yeah. So for me, I feel like it's an easy Jogo wash, and this video shouldn't even be made. But again, I I really want to. I want to do this. I think this would be an interesting battle. I feel like this would be useful. There will be a couple of things. One, this is gonna be a wash. Because pre-awakened Gojo is nowhere near the same level of power and skill Jogo is, right? Gojo was still powerful, one of the strongest sorcerers, right? Strong enough to be considered his an anomaly that shifted the balance of power in the world of Jujutsu Kaisen. But the problem mainly lies in the fact that Jogo has domain expansion and a maximum technique. Two things that Gojo at this young age might not have that would help him out in the fight. Now you could say with the maximum technique, if Gojo just turns on his infinity, he could probably escape it, right? And you'd be right. You would be right. You would be right. He could escape it and he could survive with the infinity, right? With neutral infinity. Or maybe just lapse blue, just throw one out there, right? But then Jogo turns on the domain expansion. And now it becomes a lot different. I mean, now I don't know how good Gojo is hand-to-hand combat-wise. Because remember, Jogo is compared to a six-finger Sukuna, I believe. Maybe 6 or 7. So, to really put into perspective, Gojo, he didn't, that one didn't even beat Toji. Now, Awaken Gojo, the same day, right? Awaken Gojo might stand a better chance, but both newly awakened Gojo, right? The Gojo that learned reverse curse technique, and the Gojo before that, it's without his domain expansion, I doubt he's winning. He's powerful, and would definitely put up a fight in both cases, but he's not winning the fight. Jogo is the strongest disaster curse, and I see a lot of disrespect on Jogo's name because he lost to Gojo, right? Of adults peak Gojo at his peak right now, right? And he also lost to 15 Finger Sukuna, two beings who are considered to be who are like gods of the Jujutsu world, gods who have pioneered Jujutsu, who have changed the very structure of Jujutsu Kaisen itself, who basically hold humanity in their grasps. With Sukuna, it's more in the negative sense, and with Gojo, it's more in the positive sense, right? We've seen what happened in Shibuya. When Gojo isn't around, shit goes down, and when shit goes down harder than my mom smacking me with the belt. Shit goes down harder than my dad going to fight a war, right? It's like it's unbelievable. Like Gojo gets sealed, everything falls apart. Sukuna gets released, everything becomes worse. And we see that. We are given what happens, the worst case scenario if this happens. The worst case scenario is Gojo gets smacked. Because I do not see Gojo, even after awakening his and being capable of using reverse curse technique, maybe he gets a bit of an advantage. But he still needed a year to train himself to use neutral limitless with relative ease, right? He needed to, before he could have truly master neutral limitless and use the 6 eyes to run the reverse curse technique and constantly maintain reverse cursed energy and to keep his body fresh and body and mind fresh, It took a year, and he doesn't even. And we know at least until his third year, we know he doesn't have a domain expansion. So technically speaking, there was no hard counter for Jogo's own domain expansion. I feel like domain expansion is like Gojo's main weakness, and that could be the factor because this Gojo does not have his infinity. He doesn't have his infinity domain expansion, which was a huge factor. We could give him last blue, last red, and reversal red, and we could also give him purple. The problem is he just learned these abilities. So even this awakened state of his isn't enough. His awakened state is not enough to subjugate or create enough of a win condition for me to give him the win. He could do well on a one-on-one basis, right? Fighting Jogo, right? Jogo still most likely beats him up, right? Basically, the fight goes way more equal than one side. It's gonna be way more equal. But because Gojo is just learning how to use his curse techniques and the lapse blue and red and purple, it's going to be difficult for him to treat. And Jogo is way older. Even though Gojo is enlightened, Jogo is way older. Just probably at that point in the story, just as hungry, just as willing to, just as ruthless. It's going to be something that really tips the scales in his favor. I feel Jogo just having a domain expansion gives him the advantage already, right? It's that bad. Now, there are no main calculations to this. I don't have any smart brain calculations or as I said before, this is not a channel where I use smart brains, but I always look for the win conditions for both sides, no matter how unrealistic or unprecedented these win conditions are. And for me, the win condition for Jogo, domain expansion, instantaneous domain expansion. Or you don't need to go instantaneous, but throwing a couple of fireballs at him because Jogo is going to be way faster. Even if you want to compare Gojo at just newly awakened Gojo to maybe a 4 or 5 finger Sukuna, which is not unlikely. It's very possible. You still get the idea that he's not strong enough. He's not strong enough to take on Jogo. Jogo has the capacity to use domain expansion, something that we clearly know from his interaction with adult peak Gojo that it doesn't work against him. It doesn't work. The Limitless doesn't work in domain expansions. At least that's what he's trying to say. As he says, since they are literally in his space, in his world, and the very essence of his domain expansion is crushing the Limitless to the point where the Limitless does not work. So his domain expansion cannot work. So his Limitless, Gojo's Limitless, even as a child, is if Jogo runs the hands, turns on his domain expansion, it's over. That's what I'm saying. Jogo is gonna win. I would say 8 out of 10 times because Gojo still has purple in his disposal, and if he can, move himself in such a method and in such a way that would give him the advantage to use purple, maybe jump over Jogo and just throw a nice imaginary purple on his face, right? Or just teleport behind Jogo and shoot him with purple, or something around those natures. Something to do with purple, because red's not working, right? Blue's probably not working, and if Jogo turns on the domain expansion before Gojo has a chance to use purple, he's dead. Because Gojo, granted, he is a powerful sorcerer, but at this time, he's still a 16-year-old. Nonetheless, you could be as powerful as you want, but if you are and you can be as powerful and as enlightened as you want from a young age, and you could say, well, he be Toji, right? He easily dismantled Toji. Well, yeah, but Toji is not Jogo. Toji is probably, if I were to count him in fingers, I would say he's not even maybe 4 finger Sukuna. I think he might be on the same level as 3 finger Sukuna, right? But I would not give him the benefit of doubt when it comes to 4 finger Sukuna. Gojo is probably a 4 finger Sukuna. It's probably as strong as 4 finger Sukuna. So to say that if I'm just making these assumptions, right? Because what made Gojo even more powerful is the fact that he was able to constantly run reverse curse technique without having to exhaust himself, which was a big, problem for him when he before his before during his teen lives. He couldn't use reverse curse technique. He couldn't use red and all these different stuff. And Awakened Gojo, through learning reverse curse technique, was able to use red and purple nigh instantly. The problem is he doesn't have experience. He still doesn't know how to turn on the 24-hour thing, so he has to concentrate on turning it on. And if Jogo just exploits that concentration or lack thereof of concentration, he could win. Jogo throws a couple of volcanoes here and there, and Gojo doesn't see all of them or misses one. Dude's fried because he has to turn it on consciously. He can't just turn it off and turn it. He can't just leave it on like he could now, right? He could leave it on while he's sleeping and nothing happens to him. Not to mention that Gojo, once he was in Jogo's domain, had to just turn on his domain expansion. Didn't even try to fight him one-on-one in that domain expansion. He just said, you know what? This is a bit too dangerous. I'm just going to use the domain expansion and turn it on. And now you could interpret that in a couple ways. I would like to interpret... Oopsie. Sorry. Hiccups. I would like to interpret it as him being... Even though he's still probably stronger than Jogo in the domain expansion, it's still not a complete 100% victory, since this domain expansion, the world is literally against... it's for the user. So in Jogo's place, the Iron Coffin of the Skanda, or whatever it is called, he becomes stronger and stands a better chance against Gojo, something that Gojo was not willing to risk, because he's not his young naive self who thinks he's too strong. He understands that. Yeah, I mean, I have to take people who are strong, at least relatively, and can use domain expansions, are pretty dangerous. So I'm just gonna turn on the domain expansion instantly and cause some problems just like that. So what I'm saying is, the win condition for Gojo, he hits a purple. He hits purple on Jogo. That is the only win condition, because red's not working on Jogo, right? Blue might not work on Jogo. It could blow him back and throw him away, but he just comes back because because Gojo doesn't have that same level of leisure as Jogo would have, right? Gojo is not, and this is Awakened Jogo. This is Awakened Jogo. This is Awakened Gojo, not just newly awakened Jogo. This is newly awakened Gojo, not pre-awakened. I'm giving him benefit of doubt and saying, okay, this is after Toji. This is after Toji stabs him and he learns reverse curse technique. This is the Gojo I'm talking about. So this is the Gojo I'm talking about. Any Gojo after he learns Limitless and can use it at will, might stand a better chance. Probably after the year time skip, might stand a better chance. Gojo, as soon as he learns Infinity, yeah, I'm not giving Jogo anymore. But before Infinity, Gojo doesn't have much of a good chance. I could say at best, it's a 50-50. At worst, it's a Jogo smacking him up every time with domain expansion. So yeah, I mean, that's my view on it. Tell me what you guys think. I mean, I would like this. Hey, I just got a new subscriber. We got 3 subscribers now. Wow. Yeah, this is crazy. Never even thought I'd make it past 2. Honestly, we could start with 10 subscribers. You know, we could start with 15, right? We could start. We gotta start small. You know, new beginnings, guys. New beginnings. Yeah, it's really awesome that you guys are actually subscribing. Or, God, 2 of you, both two guys are subscribed. It's like 2 people. So really, honestly speaking, it doesn't really make sense to be so hyped. But you know, this is a new channel. It's been here for about 2 weeks. Yeah, I mean, and now I'm talking about JJK content. I just got 2 new subscribers within those 2 weeks. So it's really good. Thanks you guys so much. I love you all, or love both of you, by the way. And yeah, have a great day.